So
Going live. Going.
You're live.
Hi, Internet. Welcome. We're the Knights of the Drunk Watch, and we are here getting hype for Episode 9.
Episode 9.
Episode 9 is going to be happening in about half an hour of House of the Dragon. But in order to get hype for Episode 9, we're going to be discussing Episode 8, the rest of the season, in a very compact and concise way. I'm Audie.
I'm Travis. Thomas.
I'm Kate.
I'm Boone.
I'm Andrew.
I'm Mark.
We are the Knights of the Drunk Watch.
And now our talk
begins.
Lead us, fearless leader.
Okay, so I have the nuggets. So let's start with the title. One of the main conflicts of the episode is the Lord of Tides. So
Riftmark is the problem.
Corlys has apparently
off camera
fallen overboard, and they don't know where he is, and is presumed dead.
No,
I thought he fell over.
I thought it was more trouble.
From what I thought was he got stabbed and he's on a boat but could be dying.
Yeah, right now he's basically
he's mortally
just not,
wounded.
Yeah.
But
He's
he's
not
on a
expected
boat.
to make a recovery.
He's not going to be an efficient leader of Driftmark any longer, and they are worried about the succession of it.
Yes, which could either be now his brother is stepping up and be like, it should be me. And then there is Luke.
Which Daemon's too close to Daemon. It drives me crazy.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
Well, at least it's not 3 fucking Aegons.
Yeah. There's only 2 Aegons.
They're going to have
or
yeah.
Luke, who is Rhaenyra's son, who looks nothing like his dad.
Well, he looks a lot like his dad.
There's a strong resemblance to somebody else.
Yeah.
But we, in previous episodes, have heard the sea snake specifically say blood doesn't matter, names matter.
Right.
And they had already made the deal of he has his name until he gets to the throne.
Corlys is one of the only people who accepts it, and he loves his
Corlys and Viserys are both like, don't give a fuck. Just hand over the succession.
Yeah.
We don't want to
Give me
lose.
that little kid.
Well, and of course, I mean, it's the younger brother who they're trying to give.
Yeah. Because the older brother is technically supposed to take over the throne. So.
Well, yes. Yeah, Jace is the oldest.
And he's taking it so seriously. Like
he's in there trying to learn his Valyrian.
He is like doing everything. He's trying to make sure he has his dragon. Like he really is working to be a
should we
good
say
leader.
as opposed to the other potential new king, Aegon?
Fucking high tower shits.
Who is...
I hate the greens.
The one who masturbates in windows.
The problem with those kids,
Really
they are Viserys' true-born children. I can't take that away from those kids. You know, it's what Otto's holding on to. They are Targaryen children.
Well, so are the other ones. They're
so
still
Rhaenyra.
I'm not making that argument. That's why I can't hate Aegon and those terrible.
Oh, he's a
Aegon's up there.
Rapist.
He's
They're
raping
little
girls.
fucks.
One of them has the gift of sight.
I don't give a shit. Aegon is a rapist and he can die in fucking hell.
And he clearly doesn't even care about being king. He's like, what? I have
Fuck
to
that
do
piece
something.
Of shit.
How many
And
times
his
has his
mother.
mother walked in on him naked?
Yeah.
Just like 2
How
weeks.
many rapes has his mother covered up?
With egg on his face.
With Aegon
On their face.
Her face.
So, I mean, this is pretty much getting, because of this conflict now, everyone's going to King's Landing now.
Family reunion.
I will say, sorry, go ahead, keep going. But
And they all get together.
Keep the song going.
Going to the red keep. Sorry.
So I feel like the difference that I'm feeling that is very, very different from Game of Thrones and makes us a more narrow scope is we haven't seen shit about what the common people want. We haven't even seen them walking in the goddamn marketplace. Like, they are always in their castles dealing with their political shit, and they have zero relationship to the people. No one has mentioned the people so far at all.
I think part of that. I think part of that is because they are in peacetime, and so there is less of a need for them to.
They're just going about day to day.
No, hang on. I'm not done with my sentence. There's less of a need for them to relate to the people, right? Because they are like doing well, everything's fine, so they don't have to like rally the troops to their side. So it can be more of an internal political battle because the people are fed and happy. They're fine. They're not dying. They've got food.
But
They're
we
not
also
battling.
don't have any characters in that spectrum. Like,
I mean,
Everyone lives in a castle.
We
Everyone
have
is-
enough characters.
I think the white worm is the one that we have.
That, and I mean, we got to see the people like that one time that Rhaenyra and Daemon went into town and went to a carnival.
And
we
then
also
only
got
saw
to
the
see them
sexy
that one time
people.
Daemon went into town and chopped all their hands off.
Oh, there was that, yeah. And there did.
Those were the
lots
that
of
was the
visits
criminal
to the
elements.
town.
But we don't have any
alright,
characters of lower class.
We
as well.
don't need them right now.
Well, Adi, to
Let's
that
talk-
point, they haven't really expanded the universe
Fine.
beyond Driftmark. We saw Pentos in a dinner, but we are very firmly either on Dragonstone, King's Landing, or something like that. And when you think,
Driftmark,
I'm sorry,
yeah.
Driftmark. And when you think about it, they
Yeah,
are barely
Dragonstone.
exploring the far east coast of Westeros in this series. We haven't seen
It-
Dorne.
We haven't-
We haven't
It's
been to
the
the north,
story of the
Castle
House of
Rock.
the Dragon.
No,
Yeah.
I know, but like they
Like
haven't
Adi
pulled
said,
the universe.
it is a
back
narrow
and out and
scope.
open
I
to
don't
shit.
know
Yeah,
if they're
no,
going
to.
to.
That point, exactly what I
They
said.
probably don't need to because this is.
But it is also
This is
peacetime,
not the
because-
Game of Thrones. This is the Battle of the Dance Dragons.
Battle of the Bastards.
Okay, let's talk about the king.
The poison finally worked.
He's down to 8 hairs.
Get over the fucking poisoning. It's not funny anymore.
No.
No,
I
it's
think-
not.
We still
It's a
think it's
real
funny.
thing
No,
that's happening.
I think he is being poisoned by what we call disease and infection. Like that's what he's being poisoned by.
He's
is
being
a-
poisoned
he
by
is-
his own body.
He is.
And
He
too
is
much
a.
and too much medicine.
I don't even think it's that. I think he is a weak Targaryen. And so he has no.
That's not
hang,
fair.
hang on. If we're saying the Targaryens are stronger than whatever by magical means for some reason, he has not been put to any test. He has not been strengthened by any
Not a
negative
dragon rider.
experience in his life.
Can't
So
ride a
he is
dragon.
a soft king.
He did
And
ride
we-
it. He was a dragon rider.
And the
and
best
then-
one we've seen in both series so far.
But then that causes him to and he just got infected. He got cellulitis. It turned into necrosis. He got all these things that are
Well,
just.
He was nice.
They didn't have medicine. He was nice. He was soft. He had peace. He never had anything to harden himself against.
I would
Except
like
Allison.
to disagree. So I had that opinion originally going in about Viserys, that he was a little soft because he lived in a time of peace. But watching these motherfuckers roll around each other and how warmongering they are, it is not easy to keep the peace in the Seven Kingdoms, and it's not easy to keep the peace between Westeros and Essos and through the stepping stones, or the stepstones. Sorry,
It is
I
with
I
Daemon and a
think
sword.
that, especially in this last episode, we saw Viserys' character. He has always stood by his family. His love is his strength. He may not be the strongest, fighting with a sword, and he may not be a dragon rider. That does not make
He
him
was a dragon rider.
Yes, fine, great, sorry. He rode
He-
Balerion.
He was
Like,
the last
2
one
times.
to ride Balerion. Well, then
but
Balerion
he
died.
is still a dragon
His
rider.
dragon's
I will
in the
say-
sword.
But
But-
his strength doesn't come from his violence like everybody else in Game of Thrones. It doesn't come from his ability to slice someone's head off in the middle of the throne room. It comes from his ability to love his family and love his people and love his country.
I think
Good
that his
stepping
strength comes
stone.
from his denial. Even in that last thing where he's like, oh yes, we're all being super kind and sincere, and these speeches mean exactly what they say. It's like, no, they're being kind of shitty or backhanded sometimes. And his strength comes in his ability to be like, nope, it's all good.
Well, I mean, he is falling apart as a king in this episode, and has been
Physically.
for many
He's a
years.
human.
And that's all he slowly did. Again, I know it's beating a dead horse, but I always felt like the only thing keeping him alive is his Targaryen blood
Yeah.
and that fire within him. He's special. He's beating
And Allison
barely
with the
whatever
blankets.
poison has been given to him for the
Oh,
a kingdom
laugh
of his
down.
life.
And he thinks that he put his foot down and he said, no, this is it. Like, he settled things. So now
But
he can rest and...
And Adi is 100% right. He loves his family. It's the
Yeah.
only thing that has kept the kingdom, not to mention this Targaryen Brady bunch together, if you will, so far and this long. And now with how the episode ends, everything's new and everything's gonna be different in a probably big and bad way.
I think Audie's initial point is super relevant, though, is that because we have not heard anything from the people, everything we've heard of is the people will not agree. The people will not accept. The people will not.
The realm won't
No,
accept
well,
you know,
there-
it.
or
there
they
wa-
will, or so it's all everything we have heard is all conjecture by fucking Otto Hightower, or, you know? And so it does become this kind of thing of, like, why... What other evidence do we have other than this one dude saying, no, Aegon
we do
will
have
be king?
some evidence of what the people is, or at least the scuttlebutt is, concerning Rhaenyra and her children not being, not Valerians, I believe?
Yeah.
They're not true Valerians, thus they shouldn't inherit the Driftmark throne.
Where have we heard that scuttlebutt from?
Everyone's calling them bastards.
Outside
But
of
her servants are whispering about it to the point that it bothers
But it's her throne now.
Allegedly. Take
Nugget.
this.
Okay, so here, in all the reuniting, before we get to the two queens, let's talk about the boys. All of the boys meeting up for the first time since Aemon lost his eye.
Time jump.
And, well, like I say, we already talked about Aegon, but you see that Aemon is... He's the new Daemon,
He's
pretty
the
much.
bad. Oh my god,
He's
their
trying-
interactions
Is he
between Daemon
the
and
younger
Aegon.
one?
He's the younger.
Yeah.
He's
He
not
looks
Aegon. Yeah,
he
with-
looks a lot older, I
Okay.
think.
He
The
was
one
the
that has
boy.
the eye
He
is
was the
younger.
young
Targaryen
gift.
boy who they gave
Yes.
the pig to in the dragon pit.
Yeah, he's
That's
the
why
young
it took me.
gift.
He's
I will
the
say,
younger
It
brother.
took me rewatching it a couple times to realize the reason he got so pissed off at that dinner is that they put the pig in front of him and his cousins laughed. I didn't catch that. I was like, why are they laughing?
Yep.
And then I rewatched it and I was like, oh, it's because they put the
Because
pig
children are shitty,
directly
right.
in front
Got
of
it,
him.
got it.
Well,
It's
and
like all
that was so long ago, and B, he's taken a big fucking dragon since then. I don't know why it's still funny.
Well,
And he's a
allegedly,
badass
that's the
with the
reason
pointy
that
end
he
of
got
his
pissed
sword.
off
But
in
you
that
think
moment.
they
Thanks
Oh,
to Sir
bastard.
Kristen Cole.
In this life, they should.
It's
no.
well, they clearly have lots of issues. They're probably all going through
Not a
puberty
great
right now, and
therapist.
They're spoiled.
in King's Landing.
but I will say the actor playing Aemon, he has his eye game down. Really, his stares, like he casts these stares all.
People are
around.
very excited on the internet to see interactions between him and Daemon because
Well-
they're like cut from the same cloth.
There's a time jump, I'm sure, and we've
Between
lost
which
that
two?
actor completely.
Aemon and
iPad?
Which one's
Daemon.
Aemon?
iPad?
The
one-eyed
and
Targaryen.
Daemon.
Oh, I
son.
thought he was like
No, he's
No.
Aemon.
There's Aegon, Aemond, and the girl.
Yeah. Also, Aegon.
Aemon. He has a
Aegon.
D on it. It's like Edmund.
Aemon.
Aemond, not
Okay.
Aemon. Not Aemon. Aemond.
Like
Aemond.
almond without the
Okay, I'm sorry, I forgot one letter.
Well, no,
Apologies.
but it sounds very different. That's why I was confused.
Well, and I forgot
If you have
because of the-
Aegon and Aemon and Aemon and they all sound the same.
When I almost didn't catch it because of the
I don't
time
know.
jump, Aegon married his sister, which
Right,
again
yeah,
I
I
almost
missed
didn't catch
that.
it, and we found that
yeah,
out
yeah,
from
yeah.
her wedding toast
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
the newly
Because I
betrothed.
remember
Because
watching
she's
it and I was
so
like, the
utterly
children?
fucked
Oldest, yeah.
anyway, where
Yeah.
she was like,
She was
yeah.
so hilarious.
No, we need to start paying attention to the things she's saying. She's spitting out
She's
prophecies.
touched.
No,
Yeah.
yeah. I
She
mean,
is
like,
touched
she's.
in a.
I believe
she's
we've mentioned this
prophesizing
previously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
shit
Oh,
like
I
that.
will say, I did get this off the internet. I thought I'd share it with you guys. Mark may have read this already.
Ew.
But the last thing she said at dinner was, beware the beast beneath the boards. When you read about Viserys' death in the book, because somebody posted the paragraph in there, it talks about how his room is directly above Alicent's.
Whose?
Anyway,
So,
what did she
I
say?
don't know.
Who's
Beware the beast beneath the boards.
who
I don't know
is-
if that has anything to
whose
do
room
with
is
it,
the
but that's
beast?
something I heard from the internet.
We have a
Allison.
hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Lily.
Wait, who?
Hi, Lily. We'll be
Lily
back
could
in
be
an
here.
hour and 15
She's not going to be here, so she's
Oh,
saying
okay.
hi
Yeah.
now.
Hi.
Enjoy the episode for us.
Should we talk Alicent and Rhaenyra reuniting?
Yeah, they were like in a
Temporarily.
good spot before their kids like.
Yeah.
I know, and I feel like
Just,
Yeah,
just
we
proves
even-
kids are the worst.
kids are the fucking worst.
No, this proves
We-
Viserys is one of the best kings because he wants what's best for his family, and his family just can't get their shit together. They haven't been able to this whole time since
Well,
they became
I.e.,
intertwined-
kids are the worst.
Yeah.
And, yeah,
but
it's not going to last. Their grandpa's peace
I
and wishes
think
won't last.
Alicent and Rhaenyra, I think they understand. They've dealt with this whole like awkward relationship between them for so long now, but I think now they're finally just, especially since the king is dying, that they're both doing a good job of just being nice to each other, and even though they still probably spite each other a bit.
Well, but I also think that could be a moment of, before the end, where everything got fucked up, a moment of Alicent, like, having a slight moment of acceptance of I don't have to fight this. There is a descendancy in order, and I'm not part of it.
But
And
then
that's
her misinterpretation of
I know.
the king's final words at the end have derailed that once again.
Yeah.
So, did y'all watch the into the episode part?
No.
No.
Because they very specifically talked about how the last conversation he had in his bed was Rhaenyra introducing her son Aegon. And
Yeah.
so he said, oh yes, Aegon, he will be a beautiful queen to Alice, or a beautiful king to Alice. And maybe he's going to be a beautiful queen and that's okay. But he's going to be, Aegon is the one who was prophesied. He is the heir that is meant to be. But Alicent has an Aegon also.
But
And-
really, they're talking about Jon Snow. That's who they're. That's the
Well,
Aegon.
okay.
Eventually.
Yeah,
No,
but
you mean
Aegon
prophecy?
Targaryen?
Yeah, the Aegon.
No, but he was talking about he was talking about the prince that was promised.
Yeah,
But-
he's Aegon.
Because
Alicent's like,
he's under
"I've
the
got one of
impression and was
those,
told
it's mine."
it will come.
Is
this
actually
prince.
Aegon, or she thinks it's Aegon?
Okay, so the king,
They are all
The
Aegon.
series was talking
Their
about an
face.
Aegon that will be the prince that was promised.
Okay.
A
And,
Song of
but
Ice and,
he's talking about
Fire
his
and
will
Snow.
be the Song of Ice and
Because-
Fire.
Ice and
He
Fire.
is
Yeah, no,
Jon Snow.
I didn't know that Aegon was talking about an Aegon.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just thought he was just talking about a future person.
And
Yeah.
earlier in the conversation where, like, Rhaenyra was like, is it true? Is Ice and Fire true? Like, I need you to tell me what is going on. Please be honest with me. And he couldn't get to it. He got to it 12 hours later with Alicent, because he's an old man.
Right.
He was dying.
But
But
the
of
truth
course,
is-
Alicent, who was having a moment of, yes, I will come to terms with the fact that my children are not meant to be king, is now, oh, fuck, my
But
kids
I'm gonna totally make
are
them
gonna be
kings.
king. No, because the king told her that it was so.
But I don't think that it all rests entirely on that, because that would be like, honestly, a stupid
Well,
plot
Vis-
line.
Oh,
Viserys
you
always-
mean the misinterpretation of a
If
false
I could
prophecy
finish.
that somebody misinterprets?
So
Yes.
the thing is, I think that it's everything leading up to it, and this was like the proverbial straw. Like, I think she had one step backwards towards trying to accept, but she's been non-accepting this whole time, and she just needed an excuse.
But I also feel like she's been non-accepting only because of outside. Like, Otto told her.
I think it was
disagree.
definitely Otto
Because
doing all of that.
yes, he did that whole thing, and then she had that whole, like, she just repeated that conversation with her son. But we got to a point where, like, if she honestly thought that her children could survive the reign of Rhaenyra, which she was getting, I believe she was getting to the point of believing that her children could survive the reign of Rhaenyra, because she was joining up with Rhaenyra again. Rhaenyra was like, let me drop the kids off and come back for wine. Like, yes, I'll come back on my dragon, then I can just Uber home. Like, it's fine.
It is not.
I think that was just a moment. I honestly don't think so. I think that her jealousy for everything that she has had to go through that Rhaenyra never has is her main driving force. I think she hides it behind everything else. But we saw it in the moment that she attacked her in that throne room.
Her son
That was
had just
years
lost an
ago.
eye.
She didn't talk about succession or her children's lives. She said, you get to do whatever you want, and you think you're entitled to my son's eye as well.
Well, and that was also a very angry moment because her son just lost an eye.
Yeah, and that was years
I
ago.
believe that her motivation deep down has to do with how much she hates what her life has become as compared to Rhaenyra.
And I think that is true, and I think also we had a moment, and I think this is also, we can go back to, I think Game of Thrones does this really well, and that's why we like watching it, and that's why it's fucked up, is because it gives us these moments of, oh, they're coming to terms. It's gonna be okay.
I do not trust those moments.
They
a
are
bit.
they're like coming back together, and then it's like,
It's
oh,
episode
no.
8, bitch.
That-
There is no way.
No, a sense of everything's
straight
gonna
up,
be
like,
all,
just straight
oh
Dave
shit.
Chappelle, like, pull the rug out from under you. It's like,
Well,
gotcha,
we
bitch.
know everything was going to be okay, but like that dinner scene where the king is like finally just like, for fuck's sake, everyone just get along.
No, but
And then they all actually stood up. They all
And
Viserys
then
had-
Aemond
Right.
is like, oh. you
Well, no,
wanna,
and then
like,
the
dance
moment
with
the king
whatever.
left.
Viserys
Yeah.
had amazing scenes this whole episode. It was sad to see him finally go the way it did. but we're overstepping one big scene where he waddles to the throne,
Oh, that was
sits
a
down and
great
says,
fucking
"I am
scene.
confused." I'm like, "Yeah, me too,
Yeah.
man." But that was a great
He also
moment.
managed to hold on to enough strength
Audie,
to
I
have
think-
some sass.
Audie, I think
Yeah.
you said we get to see his character this episode.
Yeah.
He has done a great job the entire time, poisoned or no poison. He has done a great job, and he is falling to Westeros.
What?
Do you have a viewer comment?
Well,
No?
and
Oh, okay.
and even at that final moment, like in the council, like he knows he has but days of whatever to live, and he still
Hours.
maintains. He does not change his mind about anything. He's like, I fucking decreed this back in episode 1.
He goes, "This has been settled.
He's
What
like,
the
I,
hell are y'all
he's
talking
like, I
about?"
decreed all of this. I stand by
Before
it.
you make a big point, he chooses his moment to show and use his strength.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're running
We're
over.
closing
time.
it
Okay,
out.
I just want to really quickly, because we talked about it and then we started getting into really in-depth things. Brother Corlys gets his head hopped
Yes,
off
Daddy
in
Damon.
half by Damon.
He could
Best
keep his
scene of
tongue.
the episode.
That was great.
That was
Yeah.
awesome.
Also, it's my opinion that Alicent is actually trying to cling on to anything that can help her save her children.
Right.
Therefore, she wrongly
Yes.
interprets.
I'm firmly
Viserys
hate
was
Allison.
like,
He
what's
said
that?
this
Yeah,
is
that's the
treason.
fucking word.
Damon
I
heard this is
honestly-
treason.
I have a job to do. Swipe.
Andrew.
See, I honestly believe that Allison is just going mad.
Really?
She's and
Agreed.
she's
Ooh,
It could be poison.
grabbing it.
Can I
and
second
the
or
theory
third
that
on
we
this?
talked about that maybe. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know who the Mad King's descended from. I've made a point of looking at that when no one else wanted to. So I don't know how any future Targaryens intermarry. So if her madness could actually be the Targaryen madness that they all assume is something else.
It's
But
I'm nailed by
it's
Jamie.
just from
She's
it's from
definitely-
centuries
I'm
of
not getting mad
incest.
from her.
So they
Because-
say. But
Well,
also
because
the hemophilia.
in between
whatever.
Aegon and Aegon the First and Viserys, there are a couple of mad people in there too.
so they say.
And Alicent can definitely do
You want to talk about Maegor the
The
Cruel?
poison probably doesn't help either.
All right.
Anyway.
So everybody, we are very excited to see episode 9.
It's gonna be
I'm
nasty.
really nervous about who's gonna die. This one's gonna be longer than normal, from what I understand.
That's what she said.
So you guys check it out. Come back here in an hour and 15 minutes, 9 p.m.
Or if
9,
it's longer,
10.
we might have to.
Yeah, we'll have to
Ooh,
push it whenever it
We'll
ends.
let you finish before we start.
Yeah, basically, just come back
That's
to the
what she
channel.
said.
And one sec, one final thing. Technical win. If we didn't have our credits on, I would have survived Aemon living to the end. But because we had the credits on, Viserys with the subtitles, we saw like breathing and
when they announced
I
it is
lost.
when he died.
At
If we
the
didn't
end
have
of-
that on, I'd have won.
At the end of the episode, I'm like, hasn't died yet? On to the next episode,
Yeah,
he
let's see
lives.
the body.
All right.
I'll drink for death.
We are the Nights of Drunk Watch.
And
Now
now
our
our
clock is
time.
ended. Our clock is ended.
Talk.
Subscribe. Hit the notifications bell. See you in an hour.
Fucking.
We'll see, but also we all.
I had to
that
make sure
he was
on
gonna
camera
die.
I
Remember when
admitted
he
defeat.
collapsed after the wedding
Yeah.
from
Oh, yeah.
the throne.